Hi everybody, I have a really quick pattern for you today. I'm going to be tying Jasper's Pineapple Express. It's a little nymph that's very similar to the pheasant tail. It's got a hot spot at the very front, and it also uses some ice dub in the color orange. This is a great little pattern. It's a great nymph pattern. Really great fish catcher as well, which is obviously why I really enjoy to tie it. The best part is that you can really spit these flies out if you're tying them pretty quickly. And once you get used to all the proportions, they go really fast. I'll be tying this one, I believe, today in a size 16. You can tie them anywhere starting around a size 14 the whole way down to a size 20. So let me get this video started, and thanks again for watching these YouTube videos of mine. Alright, this is a look at the finished fly that I'm going to be tying here in just 1 minute. It's a really simple pattern to tie, starting with the wood duck tail, pheasant tail body with an overwrap of a copper wire, some ice dub orange for the thorax, and then a glow bright. In this case I used number 5 for the hot spot at the very front. I do tie this a little bit differently because if you notice, you can't see my brown thread tying off the hot spot. So while you're watching me tie today, make that observation near the end as I tie off my, my brown thread and then simply finish the fly with the glow bright for the hot spot. I do want to show you one variation of this. There are many other colors of this glow bright. And here's another fly that's showing off another one of their colors. This is color number 11, made by Glow Bright at the very head of this. The other thing that's different on this pattern is that I have the Coq de Leon for the tailing versus the wood duck. So that's another option that you have when tying these flies. They're great little flies called the Pineapple Express, and that tailing fiber is just one little variation that I'll sometimes use when tying these flies. All right, now I'm going to go over the materials and tie this pattern for you guys. Alright, let's get started tying this Pineapple Express. I'm tying this one on a scud hook. I believe this pattern is actually a size 16. I have a tungsten bead at the front. I am tying in for my tail right now some wood duck flank feathers. That's what the original recipe calls for. When I tie these in, I will go the whole way back just behind the hook bend, or I'm sorry, the hook point, and that's where I'll lock them in. Let me trim the butt ends. I'm going to tie in a little copper wire. As I'm tying this copper wire in, I want to let you know that though this pattern does call for wood duck flank feathers as the main tailing fiber, I also love to tie this pattern with Coq de Leon feathers. I think they're a great feather to have with this pattern, and I really do think they enhance it at times, even though this, as I said, this is the original pattern that I'm tying right now. Sorry, having a few problems getting the wire out today. So I tied it in an extra long piece so I wouldn't mess around. Alright, I have that tied in. I'm going to tie some pheasant tail fibers in as well because that is the body. I'm tying these in by the tip feathers, or the tip of the pheasant tail fiber first. So let me lock those in place. If you notice, whenever I'm tying these videos, I don't always use the pinch method. It's not because I don't use it, but it's mainly so you can see exactly what's going on. But if I am tying these for myself, I always do pinch those fibers down and pinch them together in my fingers when I'm tying them. I'm going to advance my hook, and now this is pretty much like a pheasant tail with the exception that we have wood duck flank feathers as the tailing fiber. Just advance that a little bit. So I'm simply wrapping the pheasant tail fibers up. I'm going to advance them about 3/4 of the way up because I do want to leave room for the very front of this fly, for the hot spot, and for this this head. There's a lot of stuff that gets jammed near the front, and I want to make sure we have room for everything that's going on around the thorax. Alright, I got the pheasant tail on. Let me counter wrap this wire, more so for my buddy Don than me. I typically don't counter wrap it, but I will for this pattern today. That's a shout out for you, Don. Alright, so I got the wire tied in, got the body, the tail, everything's looking great. Now we have two final pieces to this Pineapple Express that make it so effective based on Jasper's pattern. The first is using ice dub color orange at the very front for this fly's thorax. So I'm going to tie in a pretty generous amount for a fly of this size. And then if you notice, I still left about a 1.5 to 2 millimeter gap between the bead and that thorax that I tied in. just going to leave it at that. I'm going to put 1/2 hitch in. Now I've already pulled up my Globe-Right. I'm going to be using the color number 5 today for this pattern because this is the Globe-Right color that is recommended for this. I'm going to pull a very long piece, and it's going to be tough to kind of see what's going on here. I don't want to pull the camera back too far, but I'm basically going to unwind it, leave the piece of Globe-Right attached to that spool. I'm just going to lock it in. It's about 3 or 4 wraps. I'm going to trim the Globe-Right at tag end, and then going back to my brown thread, I'm going to go back to one more 1/2 hitch, and then I'm going to whip finish it off and get it out of the way. Basically, directly behind this bead, I want to see nothing but that hot spot. This Globe-Right's the only thing I want to see. Then from the Globe-Right, I want to see that ice dub orange colored thorax. So I have this tied. It's going directly to the spool. I'm just going to make a number of wraps until it starts to build up. I don't want to build it up too much because, again, I'll be tying this off with itself, which will then build it up a little bit as well. So I'm getting to about the bead level. Once I get there, I'll put in 1/2 hitch. I have it locked in with a 1/2 hitch. Now I can put in a whip finish. And this fly is finished. This Globe-Right is a great material at the front, but because I tied it off with itself, I always make sure that I head cement the top of this fly. So looking over everything that we have here right now, I have the tungsten bead at the very top, the very front. Directly behind it is the Globe-Right hotspot, followed by my my thorax that's tied with orange ice dub. Directly behind that is a pheasant tail body overwrapped with a thin copper wire, and then the wood duck tail. It's a great little pattern developed by Jasper called the Pineapple Express. I hope you enjoy tying this. It's a quick one. Thanks as always for watching this video, and if you have any questions for me or any comments, please don't hesitate to leave them directly on this website or email me at tcammisa@gmail.com. Thanks everybody.